Hey guys, welcome to the third section of my macro and micro league strategy tutorial. And today we're going to be talking about winning, hopefully, and playing from your chair. So, what does this mean? So, playing from your chair means to do things outside the game mentally, and you don't have to be particularly spectacular inside the game. You don't have to be a mechanical god. You don't have to, outplay everybody, with your series of ridiculous right clicks. The main objective here is to direct and inform. I think those are the two largest portions of this section, which is being able to direct your team and inform your team. A lot of people might get this confused with something called shot calling, which is just merely directing your team. Telling your team what to do and where to go and when to do it. But this is a tad bit different. This is actually a mixture of both. So the actual good part of this is the information that you want to provide your team. So if someone says, hey, this person's up top, or this person's on this side of the map, that's informing your team. So a lot of this information should be coming from the support player. Don't be your stereotypical support player that just autopilots around the map, just follows people around, just doesn't actually interact with the team, doesn't say anything. You should be using your freedom of time during lane to say, hey, I just saw this player here, don't go in that area, stay away from that area. You're not telling them what to do, you're informing them. That's the huge thing. You want to be able to give your team information and provide them insight to help them. And the key here is to actually do it subtly so that your teammates don't feel like you're telling them what to do. That really, really frustrates people. I don't think it actually frustrates me that much, but some people just hate being told what to do. For me, the common goal is to win, and if someone tells me what to do, but it's the right thing to do, I'm not going to do the opposite of it just because they're telling me what to do. A lot of people care about presentation, which I'll get to in a little bit. So, the next portion of this is adaptation. So you want to be able to adapt to what the enemy team is doing, or what the enemy team starts off with. So if the enemy team is building primarily magic damage, you want to say to your team, hey guys, 57% of their team, or 75% of their team is magic damage. So we can get an easy win by prioritizing magic resistance items, and you tell your team nicely, and you hope they follow your rules, or you hope they follow your suggestions. If they don't, well, then you're going to lose anyway because they didn't want to listen to you. So adaptation is huge. Too many people go into a game super rigid. They don't want to change the way they play. It's like, oh, I'm going to build items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's what I always build. There's no reason to change it, and I hope for the best. That's a terrible mindset. You have to be flexible. You have to be able to adapt. And as the support, and using this strategy of playing from your chair, you can say, hey, you're doing really, really good. You should try and weave some magic resistance into your kit because there's super heavy magic damage, and this is an easy win. Keep reminding them that the win is on the line. A lot of people get lost up in all these small things, like trying to get more gold or trying to get more creeps or stuff like that. You can keep in mind it's about the win. If you can convince them to itemize correctly by incentivizing them with using the phrase "the win," people are more receptive to that. One would hope. So this ties into presentation. So you want to be able to present the information to your team concisely and positively, and that's something a lot of players struggle with is being positive and also being concise. So a lot of people are like, oh my god, man, why didn't you do this? Or why aren't you doing this? So if you're really on your toes, you shouldn't have to say, why aren't you doing this? You can say at the beginning of the game, or before you foresee a bad event happening, you can say, hey, I think you should do this, or if you do this, easy win against this person. Easy opportunity to outscale them in lane. So you have to be able to present it nicely. Some people will just tell you to mess off even if you say it nicely. Those people are, you just gotta, I guess, just ignore them and hope that they see the bright side of what you have to say. And one of the final things I want to mention is psychology. There's a lot of psychology that goes into this game. A lot of people don't realize it. It's about knowing who you're playing against outside the computer. I don't mean inside game. Like, yeah, the game knowledge is important, but if you know who the player is, you can easily exploit their weaknesses. I'll give an example. So, there's a champion called Fizz that we all know, and he's very, very frustrating to play against. And there are people that like to only play that champion. Mostly because they get enjoyment out of frustrating other people. But they also have a weakness. These people are very risky, they're very greedy, they're not conservative players. They usually don't build defensively, they usually build just all offensively. And so you can say, I can take advantage of this. You might be able to bait them and bait them into a situation because you're like, I know this guy's greedy. I bet you if I stick around with what I think is safe but what he thinks is low health, I can get him to come in, blow all of his spells, and then my team can collapse and kill him. It's classic. It's classic strategy every time. It's not just saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna dodge a spell this way, dodge a spell this way. I mean, if you're really good and you can tell that a player favors, right to the left side of a skill shot, then by all means. But if we step back a little bit and say, okay, I know how this person's gonna play. I can tell they're greedy. I analyze their play style, and so you can say these things. So. And it gives it away because people are not secretive about the way they play the game, which, in all honesty, they should be. They shouldn't be looking to give their opponent information because there may be a finite amount of information that you can get from somebody, but it's a lot of information. That number is very large, and giving even the tiniest amount can give your opponent a slight edge over you. So don't do things like taunt at people or laugh at people or spam your mastery emote. That doesn't do anything for you. It may make you feel good, but in all honesty, it just means that you're cocky and you're boastful, and chances are they're going to call the jungler up to camp the hell out of your lane. So, if you make yourself unknown or hidden and quiet, they're going to say, I don't know what type of person this is, and they're not even going to think about it. You're not going to frustrate them. You're going to become a non-aspect to them, and that's what you want. You want your strategy to be irrelevant to them, because it'll be unknown. They will have no way to even know about it or interact with it or anything. If you give away that you think you're good, this person's going to do everything in their power to shut you down. They're going to bring 4 other players up to try and take you out, and even though that may be good, that there is some sort of strategy to that into getting inside your opponent's head, but the best thing to do is get inside your opponent's head and not let them know you're there. That's the best. So, this is important and ties into playing from your chair, because as a support player, you can identify what type of players everyone else is on the map and say, okay, against this person's really reserved. So don't try anything risky against them because you can tell they're playing safe. They have a safe personality, so chances are they're just waiting for you to mess up. If you see someone who's playing very, very aggressively, you could say, okay, I've noticed that for the last 7.5 minutes, this guy's just going all in, all over again. Just wait for the perfect opportunity. It's kind of like, it's like playing tic-tac-toe and just waiting for your opponent to place their marker in the wrong spot. It's only a matter of time. Everyone makes mistakes. But the real goal behind all of this is to make the least amount of mistakes. So, just to recap, keep your team directed and informed, learn to adapt, make sure your presentation is on point, don't be negative, try to be positive, do the best you can to be positive, and do your best to get inside your opponent's head. But secretly, know the other person's playstyle. Do everything you can to determine what type of player they are, and you can exploit that. Hope you enjoyed this section. Let me know what you guys think.